Notepad is very powerful. Now let's say I create a new Notepad document now, and I write jargons there. Let me just write anything, and I save it. Let me save it. I can save it as program.vb. I'm using .vb here to tell you that Notepad can be used to create any type of document. What will distinguish it is the dot something that you type. It can be .java. If I'm using Notepad to write Java program, it can be .php. Now, let's say I'm saving it as a .php. It can even be .css. If I'm using Notepad to create CSS document, if I'm using it to create a JavaScript, I can say .js or .sql if it is for SQL. I'm doing this to explain to you that we can use a Notepad to create any document you want. So dot something will tell you the type of document you are creating. Like I use .html. Let me just save this as .css and save. Now let's go to our document. Now you can see that what I've saved as .css, I call it program.css. You can see that it's been recognized as a CSS document. Now let's go back to that Notepad. Let me save it as something else, like my JavaScript.js. I want to save it as a JavaScript document. That's why I'm putting .js. Okay, let me call it another name. I can call it program.js or program2 to distinguish it from the previous one. Let's save it. And let me go back to that document. You can see that it's a JavaScript document JS. I'm demonstrating this to show you that your Notepad can be used to create any type of document you want. Let's still save it as a program3.php this time around and save. Now, if you go to my document, you can see that it's saved. You can see that it's a PHP file. When I put my mouse on this JavaScript, this is HTML, and this is a CSS, Cascade Style Sheet program. So you can use your HTML to create any type of web page. It depends, any type of a program. It depends on what type of program. But in our own case here, I'm creating HTML document. Now, if I want to, let's say I've closed my Notepad already. Now I want to edit my page. You are going to right click and say open with Notepad. You right click, you open with Notepad. If it is not listed, you right click, open with. If you can't find Notepad here, you click on choose default program and select Notepad. Then you disable always use selected program to open it. You disable this so that it will not be good, because if you may want to open it with your browser or with any other thing. So let me cancel this. So you right click, you open with Notepad. So it's going to take you to your Notepad where you can edit your web page. I think with this explanation, you should be able to understand that anytime you are saving your Notepad, your web page, you save it as .html. I'm using home this time around. I'm saving it as, because I've already saved it. I'll say save. Now if you go now, you can see that I have two HTML page. I have index that I've saved before, and I have a home. Now since I don't need this, I'm going to delete this. I don't need this. Delete them. Delete this and delete this. So I'm dealing with only my index. So let me open it. Right click. You right click and open it with Notepad. So let's continue working on our web page. So you have already seen that we use Notepad. Notepad is very powerful. We use it to create any type of document that we want. Now let's continue developing this page. Now once I've saved it, Now, if I want to launch it, I'll go to my folder under my document. You can see this is my document. I have my folder. Then I double click it. Let's double click it to launch our page. I think it's already launched. Okay, let me close this. Let me close all this and double click it again. Okay. Now when I launch my index, you discover that it's giving me this is my first website because that is what I have in my notepad using H1 tag. Now let me change this one to, I have something running there. Okay, my smart app. Okay, let me change this one to H4 for example, and save. I'll go to my browser and refresh. You can see that it's becoming smaller. H4 is smaller than H1. Then if I go back, I change it to H6, it's going to be smaller still. And I save. And I refresh. You can see that it's very tiny. This is my first website. So I'm doing this to tell you to experiment with heading tag. That is H1, H2, H3 up to H6. Now if I save this, anytime you make changes to your page, make sure you save so that you can see the effect in your browser. So you should restore back to my H1 tag. Now this is the only thing we have in our web page. Now let's continue developing this page. I told you that in the previous video that in the head tag, this head and closing head, in between it we always have title tag. Title. Then immediately you close title. Now what do I want to put there? My first website. That is what I want to put there. What is the essence of title in a web page? If you come here, you can see that here I have file in the tab of my browser. That is where your title will be displayed. Here I have file /cuser/index. So now that I've put title, I have put title in my web page. This is what is going to be displayed here. So the title section is very important in your website. It will help Google to index your page, to be able to search your page when people when they are searching Google search engine. The title will help Google search engine to quickly locate your page. So it's very important that you give your web page a proper title. So the title I'm giving it is my first website. Let me save this. Let's save it. I'll go to our browser and relaunch. So you can see that the title has changed to my first website. So that is where your title will be displayed. Now, let's continue developing this page. Now, in the body tag, we have a H1 tag. Now, let's put paragraph tag. Paragraph tag. And say, now let me change this content. Let me cut this and paste it here. And put a closing paragraph. Here, let me say, you are welcome. I'm changing the content there. You are welcome to my website. So I'm having a heading tag like heading. You are welcome to my website. I'm having a paragraph tag. This is my first website. So if I save this and I go to my browser and I refresh, so you can see that this is my first website. It's put in a paragraph tag. Now that is what I have there. Now let's say I want to I want another page. I want another page. I want another line which I want to type. Then I can say this is my first website. Hope I hope you will like this site. I did not put this in any tag, in between any tag, and it's going to be displayed on my browser. Now, if I save this and I refresh, so you can see that it's been displayed separately. But I don't want that. I want that to be in a tag which is H2, or let's say H4, and I'm wrapping it with closing H4. Okay, now if I save this and I refresh, so you can see that it's been displayed. I hope you will like this site. So I have 3 elements on this page, one inside H1, one inside paragraph, one inside H4. Now let's say here you can see that the one in paragraph tag is very small. I want it to be bigger. I can put H2 tag in between. Now you can see that this is what we call nested tag. Nested. I start with paragraph, I put H2. You can see that these two formatting, these two tags will be applied to this statement. So it's going to be H2 bold, heading 2, which is bigger than H4, and at the same time it's going to be in between paragraph. So if I save and I come here and I refresh, so you can see that this is my first website is now bigger and isn't bigger than the third one, which is H4. So that is experimenting with heading tag and paragraph tag. Now if you go back to our presentation, like I said, we have paragraph tag, we have editor. These are basic block level elements. Then we also have a horizontal row, UL and LI, and we have bold and italics tag and break tag. I want to experiment with all these tags as you continue.